Chad Cunningham, IDPA match director, carry optics expert, dear friend, joins us to discuss IDPA in Las Vegas. Welcome to the second season of Can We Chat?
This podcast has been made possible by our sponsor, Carlson Mechanical, where your imagination comes to reality.
What is going on? My name is Paul G., Chief Safety Officer for the IDPA. This channel will help you clarify IDPA rules, shooting techniques, and inform you of the newest gear and what's going on in the shooting community. If you're new here, consider subscribing. Please welcome back to the podcast my dear friend and a past match director from Las Vegas, Chad Cunningham. Thank you for driving all the way out here. That's insane.
I'm looking forward to it.
What time did you start this morning?
I got up at 3:30 this morning.
I told him just to come on down, and I didn't know he was going to come down like the end of the morning.
Just a little excited. Just a little.
Well, thank you very much for coming in. There was a lot of people out here that are really interested and excited for you to be here. So
awesome.
We're going to be shooting tomorrow. We'll shoot the match. We're having dinner tonight.
Awesome.
And but I was just wondering if we can sit down and just have a little chat about what's going on in Vegas, and because you have a huge following here in California that are big Vegas fans.
I know.
Not for the sports teams per se, but more of the IDPA that's going on in there. So first of all, how are you feeling?
I'm getting there. I'm getting there.
You recently had surgery last year,
it's
right?
5 months on the 23rd of this month.
Documenting that down.
Yeah, not that I'm counting or anything, but yeah, it was about 5 months, and I would say I'm 80% through like in my physical therapy. I just had a progress check on Monday, and surprisingly, my grip strength is starting to come back.
Okay.
But I still have a lot of pain doing certain things, like just lifting things can sometimes be painful. Long strings of fire, bill drills and doubles, and like long strings of fire can be challenging.
So for the subscribers that don't know exactly what happened, what did you actually start to notice last year?
It's the most boring story ever because it's not cool. Like, I didn't fall. I didn't take like a nasty spill or anything. It's so boring. But the doctor said I had what's called a ulnar impaction syndrome, where the bone, something I was born with, was the bone in my ulnar bone was longer than what would be considered normal, I guess. And years and years and years of just using it finally ripped the tendons. Not the tendons, the ligaments.
Okay.
And I knew something was going on for a while. I knew like something was off, but I didn't really put the two and two together. Well, in May of last year, I took a class, Outrider Training Group, my friend Jonathan's class.
Okay.
And after that class, we shot a lot. And I knew something was more painful than normal. And I went out by myself shortly after his class, and I just went to go practice, and something happened. Like it was instant. Like, just like sharp, awful pain. So I went to a doctor, shot an MRI, said, "Yep, you tore the ligament in your TFCC, and we have to shorten the bone on your ulnar bone."
And you said, I beg your pardon?
Yeah, I did. He tried the cortisone route. He tried to say, let's try cortisone for a little bit, see if we can.
Did that help? Or
I don't think so.
Okay.
No, it was just time. Like, it was extremely painful. Using the keyboard at work and the mouse was terrible. But yeah, that's so they went in, cut the bone out, and refused them back together. Put a plate. I got a giant plate running down through here. And doctor said, you can go home.
And that was like right before the Las Vegas match.
Yep.
Right?
Couldn't shoot my own match.
You had to withdraw.
Yep.
And
couldn't shoot it.
I was like,
I'm going to apologize to many now and say that was not my finest moments at the match. I was in tremendous pain, and I was having a rough time because I think the match was just a few weeks after the surgery, and it was just it was a rough month of pain and too much drugs that they were doping me up with to try to, subdue the pain. That
you weren't just quite yourself.
I was not myself. So if I snapped at anybody and I went off on you, that's not my normal self. I'll just say that.
It's too late.
Yeah. You're not forgiven.
How are you now? So you're actually up. You're here.
I can shoot. Okay. Doctor's giving me full. He said you can shoot, and he said, do everything like normal. He said the only thing I don't want you doing is one-armed push-ups. And I went, well, no problem there.
Well, I promised you you wouldn't have to do any of that.
But he said, yeah, just use it. My therapist has said the same thing. She said you just have to just use it now. But yeah, there's some struggles still. It's kind of it can be really frustrating because I went out with Jim Tadlock and Mark a week or so ago and shot with them, and I had some shots going all over the place, and they're like, you look normal to me. It doesn't look like anything's changed. I'm like, yeah, thanks guys, I appreciate that.
So are you counting on more of your support hand trying to help you out?
Yeah, well, what happens is like long strings of fire, it hurts. It's very painful still here, and when it's painful, guess what you do? You tend to grip harder, and when you grip harder, I get more pain. So I really have to try to relax this hand, which you should be doing anyways. You shouldn't be squeezing it, death gripping it, but it just takes a lot of concentration. So what I see is I can literally see the dot going like this as the pain is going, and my shots start to string up. But I can shoot, and I'm at least able to do that.
So you have no full ulnar deviation,
correct,
or control. Okay,
correct.
So it's just allowing the gun to just flip then.
Just letting it do its thing, which you really kind of sometimes should be doing anyways. But it's just a tremendous amount of concentration when you start to feel that, to just relax and kind of let the gun do and squeeze with the left hand, which is another problem because I have the same condition in my left hand as I do on my right hand.
You're not going to do this again.
I hope not. We're not there yet. The doctor said you may never get there with the left hand. He said some people do have to do it. He said, but my therapist said, so when are we doing the left hand? I said, I will stab you with this fork if you ask me that. Like, do not ask me that again. It was way more pain than I thought it was going to be.
Oh, that's horrible. So let's talk about IDPA in Vegas.
Okay.
I wanted to postpone that conversation that you and I were supposed to have a long time ago. You were letting me know you were no longer the match director in Vegas.
I resigned shortly after our match in October. It was kind of time to go. No hard feelings, no ill will.
Okay.
But I have other interests that I want to pursue. I'm shooting an NRL hunter match this year. I'm going to go shoot the RMR match. I have hunting opportunities that are going to be coming up. And anybody that's a match director can tell you it's a lot of work. And so being tied down to that is tough. And so I just said, hey, you know what? I think that I've taken this as far as I can for the time being. So I decided to resign. The people that are running it now are great. What's the rule about when you go camping, leave the campsite in better condition than what you found it?
Yes.
I think I did that with Las Vegas IDPA.
And then some.
Yeah. So, and that's not to say I inherited it in bad condition. It was just more or less like, I think that's something that everybody should strive to, is do better than what, how it was handed to you, and hand it off to the next person, better condition.
Right. So you left it like we were like dying for a sequel, right? So we were looking for an extra 4 stages to your match.
Don't think that's going to happen.
Oh, still?
I just don't. Yeah. One of the challenges out there at Desert Sportsman's is, one, it's a great, safe, awesome place to shoot at. It's 10 minutes from my house. You can go out there. There's great matches out there, but people need to understand it is a private club, not a commercialized public range. And the way that they look at it, and they're not necessarily wrong for the way that they look at it, but like when we had the first match a couple years ago, we went to the board and said, we want more stages, we want more bays. And we said, look, we had 115 people show up to this match. And they went, that's great, awesome, we're happy. How many of those were Desert Sportsman's members? Well, about 40 of them. Yeah. We don't want to spend hundreds of thousands of dollars to upgrade the range to give you guys more bays for maybe 60, 70 more guests to come and show. Like that's just the way that they look at it.
Right. Okay.
And I'm not saying that they're never going to do it. It's just not in the cards right now. So I don't see them. I know Tony, he sits on the board, and Tony has the best interest of the club. He really does. But he's like, I have these matches, this match, that everybody's wanting something.
Yeah.
And our priority is to the members, not to all the guests that come. So it's unfortunate, but I just don't see them doing anything in the short term anyways.
You know, I noticed that's actually a trend for a lot of the private clubs. We have a couple out here that are going through the same thing. A gentleman that I just met in Arizona was thinking of the same thing. And but I don't know why that's the fact, but
yeah,
it is.
You know, Desert Sportsman's they're over, I think 70 years old now.
Yeah.
And it's always been this they want this allure of this private club.
Okay.
You know,
which they are.
Yep, they are.
And I'm impressed.
Yeah, and you know, you go through the gate, there's somebody checking you in. They don't let guests in. It can be frustrating as a match director. It's like we had a couple people that
last year was,
they wanted to come and look at the stages on Saturday, and I didn't have a problem with it, but they wouldn't let them in, which is, as a match director, I'm going, let them in. They're not here to shoot. They're just here to look at the stages.
But I don't think they've traveled to like Talladega or Alabama and take a look at the ranges out there, right?
Right.
And I'm telling you, some of those things are what they call the sports complex.
Right.
And a sports complex it is. They have like all this acreage. And then these facilities are just outstanding.
Right.
I've never seen anything like that. And those are private clubs, right? So
are they private?
Yeah. So I'm just wondering.
So it can be done. It's just it's a matter of. I know one challenge too is they're running out of real estate out at Desert Sportsman. They don't have much. Like if you remember, you drive into our range and you got range 4A, which is I don't like not many people shoot on that. They could probably do something with that and build some more bays in there. But again, they're just kind of looking at it like it's difficult for them to justify it when only so many members are interested in doing that, the big state sanctioned matches. So what it leaves for Vegas is there is another match director in the Las Vegas area who is talking about doing a sanctioned match, but it won't be at Desert Sportsman's. It's going to be at a different club, and he's in the very early stages of that. I don't know where he's at. It's just kind of chatter and talks right now.
Yeah.
Nothing's scheduled yet, but there is somebody else that's going to take over for now.
Huh.
Sorry. But I still say, here's the thing. Tony and Charlie now, they're running the matches. They're still going to do the Outlaw match this year.
Okay.
Which was awesome. That was the Bug Optics, Bug Iron, CCP Optics, CCP Irons only divisions. It was awesome. And he's still planning on doing that. He's still giving away awards. He's still going to... So you should still go shoot a match out at Desert Sportsman's. It's just, for now, I just don't see them expanding it much further.
Okay, because we have like guys, they're totally changing their divisions just for that kind of stuff.
I know.
Right?
Yep.
They didn't know that there was like Sheepdog, which is in December, and they didn't know that you guys had your venues, and they were watching all of us have all this, we were running around doing all this stuff with our hair on fire and stuff like that, and so they wanted to be a part of it.
Right.
And so now I think you guys have a huge following, and we're all dressed up, nowhere to go.
You
right?
guys in particular, the California crew, you guys did a lot for us. I mean, we owe you guys a huge debt of gratitude. You guys, I called Fred Johnson out of the blue and said, "Hey, I'm getting ready to do this for the first time. I need help." And he said, "I got the guy for you," and lined me up with you. And you guys, when do you need us? And so you guys were awesome to work with, and we've developed a friendship because of it.
Oh, yeah.
I wouldn't be here today, this weekend, shooting a match. I'll be honest with you, shooting in California never, ever, ever interested me until after we've met. And I'm like, you know what? I need to go pay a visit. I need to go shoot with them. They came down and they were so helpful to me. And so that's really why I'm here this weekend.
We sat there and you mentioned it. And I'm like, what? you want to come out for a local match? And so I told the team, and they're like, what? That's great.
I'm a free agent now.
You got your hall pass.
Yeah, I can do what I want. And I don't have to, I'm not, because Desert Sportsman's is hosting their IDPA match tomorrow, and I'm here. So
this year you're just focusing on yourself.
Yep.
Your health, your well-being, and
Correct.
you're just going to go out there and you're just going to get to shoot.
Yep.
How boring.
No, I disagree. I disagree. I've been shooting some USPSA matches, and I went up to another range in Vegas that was doing that, and I was like, wait, I don't have to help set up. Wait, I don't have to help score. Wait, I don't have to sign me up. This is awesome.
Yeah. So from going from volunteer to shooter, I mean, you have all that time to actually start to think, right?
Plan out your stages better. Yeah.
And it was funny because I sat there and we always get the guys that want to they need to take a look at the stages beforehand, and they're all walking up and back, and especially when the staff's shooting and so forth, right? And I'm like, don't you guys have better things to do? But if you really think about it,
that's what
they
they
have
want.
Nothing to do other than that, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. No, I get it, and I'm looking forward to being in that camp for some time. It's kind of fun. I'm not gonna lie, and yeah, I still want to focus on getting my hand and my wrist back back to normal.
Sure.
And I think I've got at least another. My therapist, she says, I know you want more faster. I know you want to get better faster, but she said, you've made incredible timing already. Yeah. And so and when I think about it that way, I go, okay, she said, I'm telling you, she goes, most people that have this surgery, it takes them a lot longer to get ready to be able to do some of the things you're doing.
Just from the pain and weakness alone. Right. So, and
getting there, I religiously do everything that she tells me to do.
Yeah.
If she says you need to do this 3 times a day, I do it 6 times a day. Whatever I can do. At work, I'll be sitting there doing my hand exercises because I want to, I love competitive shooting. I love it. And so when I went through this, I went, dude, this is going to take me out for a while. This is going to suck, to be taken out of something that you love to do. Yeah. And I'm going, no, I'll be back. I'm coming back, and I'm not going to give up until I come back. So that's where I'm at.
That a boy.
Yep.
Well, you're definitely earned my respect for that.
Thank you.
But Viking and I, we had the last podcast we sat down, we were talking and so forth, and we were talking to about Joe Bodden in Washington, and he's fiddling around with a bug gun, right? That's CA-IDPAshooters.
Yep. I follow his channel.
Okay.
And he and I are on the same page.
So I was just wondering, what are your thoughts about doing subcategories of CA-IDPAshooters?
Yeah, in my opinion, IDPA needs to take a second look at the CA-IDPA division. I do. CA-IDPA to me is ESP with an optic on it. And, when you go to the IDPA website, and I'm going to paraphrase a little bit, but what does it say? Competitive shooting using everyday carry gear. I don't see anybody really carrying their Atlas and their Staccato P with an optic on it. And I'm not saying that there's not outliers out there that do. I know there are guys. Jim Tadlock, I know he does.
Viking, right?
Yep. Yeah. I know there
Anthony
are.
will definitely.
The vast majority of people aren't. And bug to me is not really a backup gun. That's a carry gun. That's what the majority of people are carrying, is the smaller compact size guns with an optic. Well, those guys don't want to compete against an ESP gun, an Atlas or a Staccato with an optic on it. They want to be able to be competitive in their division. And so I think that IDPA needs to take a second look at that and needs to go, you know what? I mean, I know there are some people that disagree, but iron sights are, they're kind of a thing of the past. They really are. Optics are here to stay. Whether they think so or not, they're here to stay. A good friend of mine, Jonathan, he works for Glock. He trains military and law enforcement all over the West Coast. And you ask him, what are people wanting to shoot in your classes? Yeah, it's optics.
So a bug carry optics, right? Would you say that you just keep them at 6 rounds, or
no?
You go
10.
full round?
I don't know why they're at 6 rounds. To be honest with you, there's not a single manufacturer today that's making a bug size gun that holds less than 10 rounds.
Right.
I don't know why they do that. I maybe 10 years ago, maybe that made sense.
Yeah.
But like everybody's got the 365s or the M&P shields or the, what are some of the Springfield, you know, the 10 round capacity guns. Open it up to that.
Like, SIG, 6 hour, right?
Yeah.
So, it's constantly progressing, right? They're constantly evolving into other things, which they are now, right? So,
No, and to be fair, like the industry is like changing so much every day. Like a year ago now all the new rage is these ported guns and comped guns. I mean, that's all the rage right now. So I understand that the industry changes, and it's, IDPA, USPSA, and all these different organizations, they have to kind of adapt to like what the trends are. But it's, I think that it's safe to say that optics are here as the norm. They're not the rare thing anymore. Okay. So open it up.
So, as a match director, what would you say the logistics of adding? Well, I don't know how many subdivisions would there be in carry optics.
My opinion.
Yeah.
Open bug to optional optics. You can have it on or you can have it off.
So then that would be an extra class, right?
Bug is irons or optics.
Irons or optics. So ESP, irons or optics.
We didn't really ever regulate the kind of iron sights that went on people's guns.
No.
Except for those ghost rings, which nobody really legitimately used those anyways. Right. So, like, to me, it's, again, all the manufacturers are coming out with guns that are optics ready. Period. End of story. I don't know of any that are not anymore. And so just open it up and say, you know what, this division, this bug division, you can either have irons or you can have optics.
What about like CCP? Would that be the same, or?
I don't know. So I've heard some people say, well, really it should just be CCP should be the next optics division, because a bug size gun can fit into a CCP box anyways. Right. I don't necessarily have a problem with that. But again, I'm kind of targeting like, what are the majority of people actually carrying? It's the bug size guns. And so that's why I kind of feel like, I think that we would see a lot more people actually shooting bug size guns if they open that division up a little bit different.
Well, so Viking and I took, I'd say 6 months of our lives, and we donated specifically to bug.
Yep.
Right?
And you rocked it.
Oh man, that was the worst thing that I'm next to revolver.
It's the reload division.
It was horrible.
Yeah.
But
just
after
watching you run around dropping mags all over the place, like, what is that guy doing?
But after, excuse me, I would have to say that was probably the funnest I've ever had by far. There's when you get into when I went back to ESP and carry optics and stuff like that. I can really tell the difference.
Sure.
Extremely.
Oh yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I was like, wow, I don't have to work very hard.
Yep.
Why
do you? You've been doing this a long time. Why do you think they had bug to a 6-round division? What do you think the intention was there on that?
I had that conversation a couple of times. I still don't know. Other than it's a bug, right? Bug guns they're just there for last resort, right? And not there for like common use, right?
But why neuter it to a 6-round division?
Well, I believe that the guns back then, weren't they just a 6-round mag?
You're right. Yeah, when I think back to like the original M&P shields and the Glock 43s, you're right. They were like the 6-round.
Single stack.
Yeah.
And I believe that most of the backup guns were 380s. Were they not? Either that or they were the hammerless 5-shot revolvers. We could do that.
Mm-hmm. No. Revolver? What's that? Who does that?
Oh, I give you a list of names.
Yeah, Scott Valentine and a couple of Tom Franzoni, they love their shooting revolver. I get it. There's a nostalgia to that, and I think there's an appropriate place for a lot of these divisions, but even USPSA now has limited optics and carry optics.
Yeah. They
have 2 divisions. And I'll be honest with you, even like their carry optics division is is our ESP, optics division. So if IDPA wants to keep that intent of like we're this, competitive shooting using everyday carry gear sport, right. I think that they need to take a second look.
So not only are they changing, guns with optics, but they're also changing the holsters, right?
Yep.
So now a lot of the guys are going toward Appendix.
That's me. I'm the Appendix guy.
Okay, so
Yep. I prefer it.
that hasn't caught on out here in California so much. Yep. Well, more for the local range. They get a little nervous with things next to your crotch, right?
Sure.
So
I get a little nervous with it too sometimes. Yeah.
I mean, exactly. How did you feel about actually competing with?
Thousands of hours of dry practice
I'm
first
sure-
to just
prep
make sure
for that, right?
Yeah. And now I don't even think about it. I've been doing it for 2.5 years at Appendix. I don't even think about it, but I'm not going to kid you. Whenever I tried an Appendix holster before, I always like, man, that is not comfortable. I couldn't ever make them work.
Right.
And then the Tier 1 concealment came out, and a buddy, Mark, and I, who you know as well, I was like, hey, let me try that thing. And I put it on, and I went, okay, that's comfortable. I can actually make that work. And that's what turned me on to it. And it coming out of the holster is fast.
Yeah. Oh, extremely.
Yeah.
No more flipping around like this and this.
It's
but
fast.
The only problem I had was my reloads. Right. So do you just put an extra?
No, I do the
on the side too.
Yeah, the side there.
So you're
what do they call it? The mag carrier or but mine's kind of at an angle, you know. But yeah, I'm faster out of the holster from Appendix and faster on the reloads from concealment.
So I tried Appendix, my concealed carry, and I wore that for a week. I would have to say that I almost didn't make it through the first day.
Really?
Yeah, it was just that uncomfortable. Right?
I feel you.
Yeah.
I had the same problems.
But I moved to my SK, which is the bug gun, and now we're talking about something totally different.
Really?
Yeah.
Just a gun.
Smaller the gun, the better for me. I don't know if it was because of my tummy or anything like that, right? It's probably because of my tummy.
Yeah. We won't talk about that.
But the bug gun was more comfortable, right? And I had it off 1 o'clock, just canted a little bit, and it felt much better. But that thing was definitely aiming at my my femur, right?
I would say this: if you're newer to firearms, you better dry practice with that thing for a while.
Oh, you betcha.
Especially, everybody's in such a hurry. I watch all these videos of people like they're so fast to throw it back in the holster. I'm like, hey.
It's not a race going back.
Yeah, it's not a race. I'm not in a hurry to get it back in there. I'm in a hurry to get it out. And I know some of the jackets and things that I have with the drawstrings on them. Like you get a drawstring or something in there, and you don't know, and you launch a shot. It's it's going to change your life. I promise you. So yeah, you'll see me. In fact, a couple classes that I take. Whenever I'm clearing like winter gear, I'm like. Pull the gear as far away from there as I can and look and then put it in slowly because
you're still getting coached and so forth? Are you still taking classes or what do you?
I love taking classes.
Continue education.
Yep. I don't think you guys know Jonathan Bassett. He's owns Outrider Training Group, and he is a stud of a shooter.
Yeah.
We went and shot a USPSA classifier. I don't think he's shot a USPSA match in forever. Yeah. And he goes, my goal this year is to hit master. He shot the classifier in master his first time. Like, so are you done? Like, are you done for the year? You quit? Like, what does that mean? But he's awesome. Well, he teaches he's amazing. And I took one of his classes last year, and I've taken a couple of his classes at Glock training as well. Yeah. And yeah, I'd say, you should be taking a class like that once a year if you can do it. It's awesome. You'll
just to
learn
stay
something.
On top.
Yeah, you'll learn something, even if it's just the little things that I picked up. I've learned something from him every time. And I've taken all the popular classes, and I'll take his class every time.
It's funny because at Sheepdog, Austin Prue, he not only did he win the match, but he was there to do a class afterwards.
Right.
Not that we didn't shoot enough for the match, right? So we got to shoot for that, and he just ran us ragged, and that was for me. Excuse me. I thought that was the most fun I've ever had.
Yeah, it is.
Right?
Having a competent person watch you and point out all your deficiencies, and newsflash, I have a lot of deficiencies. But just having somebody that knows that is is really good. Like somebody, there's plenty of instructors out there who they just are teachers, but they can't do. But somebody that can do and teach and watch those things and point out what you're doing.
Now you're talking about a gem.
It is. It's awesome.
Oh, absolutely.
And I love it. Yeah, I'm planning on taking, I don't know if I'm up for 1,000 rounds in 2 days. That's a lot.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm quite there, but if there's an opportunity to take a class this year with him and do it, he's got a class coming up in May outside of Vegas. I'll jump in there and do it. And I've taken several of his classes. I'd love to take a class with Ben Steger and some of the others. I would love to do it, but it's right now we're gonna have to wait for this to fully heal. It'd be a little rough shooting 1,000 rounds. And
you're just getting itchy to just go out and compete then.
Yeah, I am. I'm very much looking forward to it. I want to get back on my feet.
Huge props.
Yeah.
I'm sure you'll be able to do that. Any final words for bringing IDPA back to Vegas?
No, just be supportive of what Tony and Charlie are doing out there. Okay. Just because I'm not in it doesn't mean that the matches are still not the same and they're still not run. Like we had ideas, Tony and I, when we ran it. Yeah. We made a lot of improvements to that club in the way that things were being run out there. And I am very proud to pass it off to Tony and Charlie. And I know that they're going to do just as good, if not better, than what I could do.
I would have to agree. You couldn't have picked two better guys. Yeah. I love those guys.
Yeah, they're awesome.
They're very supportive of you. Right. They're just really good guys to know. So
good deal.
I'm looking forward to that.
Awesome.
When is the Outlaw match coming up?
So I think they're doing it in April. Okay. I talked to them. I gave them. They asked for
real quick.
It's coming up. I think registration actually is going live this week, and they
really.
They were going to send it out to the California guys, and they said, tell them we'd love to have them. I said, I'm sure that they would love to go. So, but they would love to have you and Bill and Jeff and all the normal guys that came and helped out if you're available. And I understand it's a big commitment.
Well, yeah, I don't know. We're kind of busy. I think we already reserved our Airbnb already.
But it's going to be another great match. I gave them kind of the rules set that I had. I modified it a little bit, and I gave it to them, and they went, those are really good ideas, Chad, but we're not going to do it that way. And I went, okay, fair enough. Okay. I had some pretty radical ideas of how I wanted to see it done.
I'm sure.
Yeah, and they were like, no, that's a little too much. So they're making some changes back to it, but it's going to be fun. I know that they'll do a great job.
Well, there you have it. You have your Outlaw match in Vegas. Bug, Carry Optics, CCP.
Bug Optics, Bug Irons, CCP Irons, CCP Optics.
So break your stuff out of the safe, take the rust off of it, oil them up, and get them ready, because this is coming to you. So a special shout out to our channel membership. This is your support. Busy at work. Please consider being a part of our shooting community, building relationships around safe gun practice and IDPA competition. My name is Paul G, and this is
Chad Cunningham.
Please be safe, and we shall see you on the range.
Like, share, subscribe.
Oh, that was painless, right?
Those things are always awkward. How do I sound like a bumbling moron?